Hey, what's up? JJ here, and today we're going to look at the Hogwarts Moments books. There are 6 sets, and what's cool about each of these is they are built to look like a book, as you can see here. And when you open it up, it reveals a classroom that goes along with the topic of that book. It came in 2 waves. First, there were 4 sets in 2021, and then in 2022, there were 2 additional books added. These were later replaced with the banners, same kind of idea. We're also going to take a look at the Monster Book of Monsters, and this is a really cool set. It was a gift with purchase that you could later buy also. It doesn't open up and form a room like the other sets, but it's in a very similar scale, so I thought I would include it. Let's go ahead and look at our first Hogwarts Moments book.
First up is Hogwarts Moment Transfiguration Class, set 76382. This set had 241 pieces, released in 2021, and retailed for $29.99. As we will see with each of these sets, it comes with 3 minifigures, 1 professor and 2 students. Here we see Professor McGonagall, Hermione, and Ron. This, for a long time, was the best Professor McGonagall figure. Just really great printing there on her robes, and we see that back printing as well. What we'll notice with the figures in these Hogwarts Moment sets is they have this like little house badge on their sweater. It was how I was able to easily figure out which characters went with this set. There's also a really nice printed piece for each of the covers to the Hogwarts Moment sets. This is Transfiguration, so of course it has, there's a cup with like a rat tail, there's a rat and a cat, and just some other items that could be used in Transfiguration. And one thing that is neat, as we can see here, each of these Hogwarts Moment sets turns very compact and kind of folds together into its book. Here's what it looks like when you open it up, but let's now rearrange the pieces to create our classroom. Looking at the set for $30, you do really get a lot of different play features when you take everything apart. I want to point out there are some nice sticker pieces here in the back, really creates those windows, which is neat, and you see some here as well. This set kind of folds in a way that creates these little archways. And you'll see the sets really have 2 different designs. A design similar to this, where you have things kind of attached to the back with these pieces that come out, and then sets also just come out of the middle. And so this is one with the 2 sides. We get a lot of great sticker pieces. As we can see, there are some cool accessories as well for Transfiguration. This is, of course, Professor McGonagall, who's a Gryffindor. So we have the Gryffindor lions. We see that over here as well. There's some weird parts of the set, and this has to do with storage. Essentially, if you look at like that little yellow piece, and then over here as well, there's a couple additional pieces. And this is so when you fold this set back up, things have something to connect to. What that means is some of the pieces, the bottom is not fully closed, which is fine, it still stands, but it does look a little awkward. All in all, you get some cool prints, but this is nothing too crazy. I loved the idea of doing Hogwarts classrooms. I just wish they would have done it in a way that connected to the actual Hogwarts castle. Next, we have the Hogwarts Moment Potions class, set 76383. This set has 271 pieces, also released in 2021, retailing for $29.99. Here, looking at the figures, obviously we have Professor Snape, it's the Potions class. Draco Malfoy, as we can see, he has that little Slytherin badge. And then Seamus Finnegan, another Gryffindor. Similarly, there's a very cool print on this back piece. A lot of little embellishments, which things you would find in a potions classroom. There we see. In general, the minifigures are not super exciting. They weren't great in the other one either, but that McGonagall was so standout. This isn't really the best Snape we had at this time in 2021, and Draco comes with so much, and so it was nice to get Seamus in a set. Just looking at the back head printing, we can see Draco and Snape are pretty angry, and then Seamus has that when he exploded something in Potions class face. I really thought it was interesting that it went with such a bright purple for Snape, kind of a throwback to the original 2021-2022 wave of LEGO Harry Potter. Here's what it looks like inside, and already we can see instead of having 2 sides coming out, there's going to be 1 large piece in the middle that kind of folds out. So let's set up the classroom. And what ultimately ends up happening because of this structure is you really have a side that has all the accessories in the classroom, and then an other side, which is I guess that could be maybe Snape's office, but it's not really super playable. So let's look at this side. Of course, we have a table. We have Draco. There's a nice oversized chair. There are some really cool printed pieces, especially with all the different bottles and accessories for potions. Similarly, we have some great back stickers as well. And then a nice chalkboard, and there's Seamus blowing up. And this is what I mean when I said the other side is kind of blank. That's probably the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, perhaps. And I do like the Tom Riddle with the cobwebs. So I definitely think this side is supposed to be more of a storage area. I do like that they have this archway kind of to enter the classroom. And I really like that angle they created there on the back, as well as these snake embellishments here towards the top. So all in all, I do like this set. I think a little better than the Transfiguration Classroom, even though the figures aren't as good, just because I think you could really create a potions class play area here pretty easily. Next up for the Hogwarts moment is the Herbology Class, set 76384. This set has 233 pieces, retailed for $29.99 and released in 2021. Already, this set stands out to me ahead of the other ones. I didn't love the sweaters that the students came with. And so I love the fact that we're getting some of these Herbology outfits. And I like that we're getting different size legs. Obviously, Cedric is older than the main characters. And I really like this Professor Sprout figure. At this time in 2021, we hadn't seen a ton of these Herbology outfits. So getting 2 in 1 set was great. As you can see, they also have the headphone piece kind of used as the earmuffs for this scene. And Professor Sprout is now sporting legs instead of the skirt piece. I love Neville's alternate face print when he passes out from hearing the Mandrake. Professor Sprouts are both very similar, and then there is Cedric's. And similarly, we have a great print piece for the cover of the book with lots of embellishments for different things we'd seen in Herbology. Opening up the book here, again, we can see this is going to be similar to the Potions class, where it looks like things are really drawing off of the middle, opposed to that first Transfiguration where there's 2 doors on each side. And similarly to the Potions class, we see that a lot of the action really takes place on one half, but there are some really cool pieces here. Of course, first we have all of these plants here. There's a water station. We can see a cool Mandrake sticker piece. And you can see all the different things on the back wall. I love the be aware, obviously wearing your earmuffs when you enter into Herbology class. And looking at the other side, similar to Potions, there's not a ton going on. But what I really like about it is if you notice, there is obviously a door and a lot of window pieces. So this side is really meant to be the greenhouse. And this other side where we're looking at now, which is empty, is kind of like the outside of the classroom. So it does seem a little cooler than just with the Potions where there's just random castle walls. So I do like that, just given the location of the Herbology classroom. All in all, I really like the Herbology class. It just feels much different than the other two. Maybe it's because of all the plants and the feel that it might be more outside, and this isn't something we've seen before. But for what you're getting, I feel like there's a lot more value in this set, especially with those torsos. And I actually really like Professor Sprout's torso as well, with that printing. And last up from the original 4 Hogwarts moment sets in 2021 is the Charms class. This is set 76385. It had 256 pieces, also retailing for $29.99. And of course has Harry, Professor Flitwick, and Cho. And so looking at the minifigures, as you can see, Harry has the sweater piece with that little badge. This is a different version of Professor Flitwick than we saw when Flitwick came with the Harry Potter CMF series, which was an interesting change. And then we see Cho. She does have the Ravenclaw badge there. You just can't tell, obviously, because of her hairpiece. And again, a great printed piece here for the cover with some awesome different drawings for Charms class. And then here, similar to Transfiguration, we can see when you open it up, there's not a long piece in the middle, but 2 pieces on the side. I actually think I like the builds having the 2 sides. It feels like you get a lot more of the accessories and play room out of it. So let's see what it looks like all set up. And right from the start, I do really like those desks builds. Just a really smart use of those pieces to create student seating. We can see there's a fireplace, of course a chalkboard with some directions, Inside, we see some feathers for some of those important spells in Charms class. There's a case with a cup and a key. I do like, there are some neat sticker pieces here in the back. And of course, that long window in the back looks really nice as well. And then we see some fleshed out bookcases. And I just realized, I believe this piece is meant to be Professor Flitwick's stand, not a place to host that chest. So I moved the chest to the ground. But all in all, I really like I said, those student desk pieces are great. And the printing on the back seems to really be standout. So this and the Herbology class, I think, are my two favorites of the original 4. So they brought the Hogwarts Moment book sets back in 2022 with 2 additional books added to the line. First up is set 76396. This is the Divination Class. It has 297 pieces and also retailed for $29.99. Just some general changes about the books that I really liked. They gave the minifigures kind of those mid-legs. I don't have nearly as many of those in my collection, so I was much happier. And if you look at Parvati and Harry, you can see they have like the black school robe print torsos, and I like those significantly better than the gray sweaters. I also feel like Professor Trelawney, she has legs, so a similar adjustment or change as we saw with Professor Sprout. But I really like how the printing carries over onto her legs. And then, of course, you have some nice back printing, nothing too special with the 2 students. And again, just some really neat prints here on the cover of the book. Different things you see in a divination classroom, tea leaves, the cards, kind of all that cool stuff. Now here we can see the set all opened up, no longer in book form. However, I haven't taken the pieces apart, kind of just to show you how it gets closed together. You can see that this has the bills on both on the left and right side of the book, not through the center. So my guess will be the next set will be through the center, but let's take this apart and look at the pieces. First up, we are going to look at those sticker pieces that we see on the back of the book. I really like those teacups up there, both sides of the teacups. And I like what they did on the left-hand side, kind of creating that staircase. And in general, I think those curtain pieces on the left and the right turned out really good. Looking at some of the accessories, of course, we have a teacup on a little table, an oversized chair, some teacup printing. And I think you're supposed to put these teacups in those little clasps, but they also are used to close the set up. And then, of course, we have like a crystal ball and then a desk and student chairs. Again, I really like this desk piece, how they kind of did the legs. So it's really interesting that they're finding creative ways to create student desks with these sets. I also want to point out, I love that owl in tan to kind of look like a statue. And that is the Divination Classroom. And last up, we have set 76397, the Hogwarts Moment Defense Class. This set has 257 pieces, retailed for $29.99, and came out in 2022, so part of that second wave. Looking at the minifigures, of course, we see Neville and we see Hermione. Similarly to the last set, these two have the mid-legs, so this is taking place during year 4. And then, of course, we see Professor Moody. Same comments. I do like the second wave, how they had these black Hogwarts robes torso pieces. And I really liked the printing specifically on this one. I felt like the black and the gold looked really strong on the cover of this book. Here is the book when it's all opened up. And so as we can see, this does have the build coming from the middle, but they have changed and there is a side piece there on the left too. So I'm curious what that's going to look like, if it's an improvement from the original 4. All right, looking at the inside of this set, this second wave did a much better job utilizing that center build. Here we see the classroom on the left and Moody's office on the right. So I like that they made that much clearer with this design. Because the characters, of course, have the mid-legs, they're able to actually sit in the seats, which is nice. Here we can see there are some nice sticker pieces. I will be honest, I wish there was a sticker piece in that 4th square up on the top left. I don't know what it would be, and I know it's mostly covered, but I do like all of the details they can add with all the different sticker pieces with these sets. And then over here, we see some cool window prints, as well as some things in Moody's office. Now there's one thing that's really creepy about this set, and we're going to open up that chest and see what is inside. And here we can see a micro scale figure, and that is actually Mad-Eye Moody, because we have the Polygos potion, Barty Crouch Jr., and I guess we just lock him back inside. It does come with two. One is a spare piece. I just kind of lock them in there together. But a very kind of strange, creepy build here. And the reason they're so small, of course, is because that chest is supposed to be very deep, and so it kind of creates that perspective. While I understand why they stopped making the Hogwarts Moments books and switched to the banners just to change something up, I did like the idea of these. For $30, I think they were fine in terms of price point. You get 3 minifigures, some cool stickered pieces, a nice print of the book cover. I would have loved to see more defense classrooms with different professors from different years. These would have all just been really cool if they somehow could have stacked instead of been display books, in my opinion. But of the ones that come from the middle, I think this is my favorite of the three. But I think they got better. The second wave in 2022, these two, this and the Divination Class, are improvements. So I kind of wish they would have maybe stuck around with it a little bit longer. Here we have set 30628, the Monster Book of Monsters. This set has 320 pieces. It was a gift with purchase. I got a few of them actually, but a really cool set, and it's what got me initially interested in the Hogwarts Moments books. Does come with a minifigure. Nothing too special here, just a Draco Malfoy minifigure with the tall legs. But this has a lot of cool prints, as you can see here on the top, and the build technique is really neat. It actually, as you move it forward, it kind of chomps a little bit, like you can see here. Really cool build. Monster Book of Monsters. I'm not sure if they could have turned this into a set, maybe with Hagrid. I had it opened up. But this probably looks the coolest for sure of all of them. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to stay updated with LEGO leaks, rumors, news, and reviews, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. But I will see you all next time. Thank you.